Hi, kids! Welcome to AI Kids Stories. So glad you could make it. Let's get started. Rocky was not just any Pomeranian. Oh no, Rocky was a super Pomeranian. He had fluffy golden fur, a tiny pink tongue, and a very brave heart. His special cape, a tiny blue one, fluttered behind him when he zoomed. Zoom! That was one of his superpowers, super speed. He also had super smell and a super jump. One sunny morning, Rocky, the superhero Pomeranian, was on an adventure in a faraway land called Germany. "Hello," barked Rocky to the tall, colorful houses that looked like they were made of gingerbread. The air smelled of yummy bread and sweet flowers. Rocky wagged his fluffy tail. Germany seemed like a wonderful place for an adventure. He trotted down a cobblestone street, his little paws going clickety-clack. Suddenly, he heard a sound. Sniffle, wah. Oh dear, thought Rocky, his superhero ears perking up. Someone sounds sad. Using his super smell, Rocky wiggled his nose. Sniff, sniff, sniff. He smelled salty tears and a giant pretzel, a very, very big pretzel. He followed the scent, zoom, zoom, zooming with his super speed, past a shop filled with cuckoo clocks going cuckoo, cuckoo, and another shop selling bright red gummy bears that looked so chewy. Soon, he found a little girl named Lena. She was sitting on a wooden bench near a big green park, and big tears were rolling down her rosy cheeks. My giant pretzel," she sobbed, pointing to her empty hands. "I was going to share it with my friends at the picnic. Now it's gone, vanished." Rocky tilted his head. A missing giant pretzel. This was definitely a job for Super Rocky. "Woof, woof," he barked gently. His bark was soft and friendly, and it meant, "Don't worry, I'll find your pretzel." Lena looked at the little dog with the tiny blue cape. "A superhero dog? You will?" she asked, wiping a tear with the back of her hand. Rocky nodded his fluffy head with determination. He put his nose to the ground again. Sniff, sniff, sniff. The pretzel smell was strong here. He could also smell nuts and a little bit of mischief. The trail led him into the park, past tall trees with dark green leaves, like those in the famous Black Forest. Up ahead, Rocky saw a very tall oak tree, reaching high into the blue sky. And guess what was at the top, perched on a branch? The giant pretzel, and the cheeky little squirrel with a twitchy nose was nibbling on a tiny corner. "Aha!" barked Rocky quietly to himself. The squirrel looked down, its cheeks full. It chittered, surprised. Rocky knew he couldn't just zoom up the tree. He might scare the squirrel into dropping the pretzel, and it would break into 100 pieces. He needed his super jump and his friendly super bark. Taking a few steps back, Rocky wiggled his bottom, getting ready. Then, whoosh! He used his super jump. Up, up, up he went, like a fluffy golden rocket. He landed as light as a feather on a branch near the squirrel. "Woof," he barked, a very polite, friendly bark. It meant, "Excuse me, Mr. Squirrel, that big pretzel belongs to a little girl who is very sad." The squirrel looked at Rocky, then at the pretzel, then back at Rocky. It chittered again, as if to say, "Oh, is it really hers?" Rocky nodded his head seriously. The squirrel, who was actually quite a nice squirrel, just a bit hungry, carefully pushed the pretzel with its nose. It slid down a smooth branch, and Rocky cleverly nudged it with his nose so it landed softly on a big pile of leaves below. Safe! Zoom! Rocky was down the tree in a flash. He picked up the giant pretzel, which was almost as big as he was. It had only one tiny squirrel nibble on the edge. He trotted back to Lena, his tail wagging like a happy flag, the pretzel held carefully in his mouth. "My pretzel!" cried Lena, her eyes wide with joy. "Oh, thank you, little superhero dog!" She gave Rocky a big, gentle hug. "Danke schön," she said. That meant thank you very much in German. Lena broke off a small piece of the pretzel, from the none-nibbled side, of course, and gave it to Rocky. It was salty and wonderfully crunchy. Rocky crunched happily. Saving the day was hungry work. Lena went off to her picnic with her friends, ready to share her giant pretzel. And Rocky, the superhero Pomeranian, continued his adventure in Germany, his little blue cape fluttering in the breeze. He wagged his tail, wondering if he might even visit a real castle next. Woof! What a super day! If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.